Tastes funny.
Welcome to episode 7.5 or 8 of the Taste Funny podcast.
You should probably pick one. I mean, you're going to be the guy notarizing it, so it's going to be 8.
It's going to be 8. It's going to be 8. Okay. Sorry, let's not start on a fight, Pete. I love you, man.
I know.
Let's not start on a...
No,
you seem sad.
No, I'm not sad. I'm just preparing my mind for talking for about an hour.
Okay. So you don't have to do it for an hour. It's just that's my normal length of talking.
And well, the thing is, I had literally written bare bones in order to try and keep the time down.
Ha ha ha! You should have known better.
I should have known better. I should have known that you were going to just ramble.
By the way, yeah. Sorry. Taste Funny podcast is a podcast in which myself, Joe McLachlan,
and myself, Peter McHugh.
There's literally only 2 people in the car. Who else could I be waiting for to speak there?
I mean, it's just like it was just you put your hand up, and I was like, why is he waving? And it's like,
oh, okay, sorry. And then to finish that sentence, review a picture. Fucking hell.
Review a picture, do we now? It's late,
Should
guys.
we stop? Should we stop and start again, or should we just keep going?
I feel like at this point, this is
We're doing 3. We're doing 3 in a day.
Yeah, we're really pushing ourselves to our podcasting limits here. It's starting to become wearisome. Damn, that's a big dog.
There's not even a dog, guys. He's seeing things.
No, that's a woman, but there is a dog with her, I promise.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't. There he is. Look, what a good boy.
Hello, what a lovely dog.
What a good boy.
It's making me really glad I don't have my headlight on now.
Good boy.
Don't bash your head against the window looking at somebody else's dog.
Oh, I love a good dog.
We are reviewing a record from each other's collection this month.
Actually, I'm just reviewing one from your collection. And
yeah, okay.
It's going to be Chewing on Tinfoil, Marrowbone Lane.
It's not called Marrowbone
Lane.
So, you liked this album, did you, Pete? To be fair, the album artwork doesn't actually have the title written on it. It's a blank artwork, isn't it?
And but it is the name of the last track. Yeah, it does. A dog that comes up in the lyrics, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So, I'd just like to talk about a little bit of expectations. So when you originally set me this
I've recommended this album to Pete 3 times on different recordings.
Yeah. The first time was on the Lost Archives, the Lost podcast, the one that's somewhere in the depths of Joe's phone and will never return.
I've still got it.
Yeah, it's just shit.
Just not putting it out.
Yeah, it's crap.
One for the completists.
One for the,
i.e. me. I'll put it out when we're as famous as the Beatles. Carry on, sorry.
Okay, so never. And you sort of sold them to me as more flogging Molly than you did when you did it for the one that people will have actually heard. When you did it originally, you were like, they're a folk punk band, pop punk, folk punk. And I would like to say that I didn't get a whole lot of folk from the folk punk.
No.
I'm still
not sure how to.
There was one tiny little piece of violin, and there was a couple of times that they used a harmonica, but mostly it was just the organ. But they have a keyboard player, so I'd expect there to be.
To be fair, their first album is more a ska album.
Yeah.
When they were first originally sold to me, I was told they were a ska band, which I absolutely do not think this album is.
No, pop. Maybe there's definitely elements of ska in their music.
It's got bits of it.
Let's begin with the first track.
So how did that make you feel originally?
My point is, I went into it sort of expecting more of that, and what I got was not that. What I got was the Irish Proclaimers playing ska pop punk, and
I don't see anything in that description.
No, those are all good words, in fairness. And while this is another one of those albums where I'm going to say that dreaded sentence, that I know why you like this. I can see why you like this. This is so you. This is a very you album. And that's not to say it's not also a me album. It's just that I think I looked at it, I was like, yeah, of course Joe likes this. It's like halfway between Mumford and Sons and No Effects.
Mumford and Sons.
Mumford and Sons and No Effects.
Mumford and Sons can fuck off though.
All right, well, yeah, maybe they can, but if they were like morphed into No Effects through some sort of nuclear accident.
Yeah, okay.
You know? Anyway.
That's actually
or melancholy.
I would like that to happen.
So, the first track, Fuck Team Sports.
It's a strong title.
It's a great title, and it's also something I agree with. Both in just like, if we just took the title as read, I agree with that. Fuck all that.
Yep.
And if we're not taking it as read, and we're talking about what it's actually about, which is sort of like the idea of needing to be on the winning team, whether that's in sort of a war or a global thing, or just between your mates, or a relationship, or anything. It's a really transferable like idea that they do sort of scale across most things, and
if, like,
and it's
everyone
sort of
needs to work together. You shouldn't be fighting.
It doesn't.
in teams.
It doesn't matter if it's like you and your missus arguing out, and you want to be the winning. I want to be on the right side of the argument, or whether it's
that thing where you're having an argument with someone and you won't let it go, even if you've worked out you're wrong.
You know you're wrong, but you're still like digging your heels in anyway. Yeah,
we're all guilty of that.
Yeah, at some point, everyone does it at least once in a while.
All the time.
So like, there was a great sort of, like I say, lyrical theme to that particular song, and it was catchy. But it didn't really do much for me. It sort of felt a bit. It's pop punk. I've heard it before. Move on.
Do you find? Because I feel like if they had that weird American accent that pop punk bands have, I would find it more annoying.
Oh, 100%.
But because it's an Irish accent, it's immediately more tolerable.
Instantly more tolerable because of their Irish accent.
I definitely give them a much more of a pass on that.
So, second track, Language. Now, this is where the Proclaimers thing starts coming in. This is what I've written. The Irish. Nope, sorry, I skipped all the way. I'm on a tablet, by the way, and I just like slapped it, and my notes went mental. So, right, the Irish Proclaimers playing pop punk, a bit moany, not feeling it, but it's well written.
Lyrically, it is a nice album,
and it's a song about a relationship. Joe, I've heard songs about relationships, but and that's not to say it's a bad song. Even I did when I wrote that note, I was like, I must remember to expand on the fact that it's actually not a crap song, because it's not. It's a perfectly...
Is this the thing where you, like with the Dandelion one, where you basically just slag it for half an hour and then go, so I really like this album?
yeah. It is a little bit like that, yeah. Because this is... What I'll also find... I'll tell you what, I'll do that bit up top, shall I?
Right, okay.
So that you know what I'm going at before I start slagging.
Okay.
This is a exceptionally serviceable pop punk album. If you like Melancholy, if you like NoFX, if you like the Proclaimers, they're not pop punk, but you know what I'm saying. If you like pop punk and you want a really good pop punk album to listen to this. This is great. This is well written, well lyricked. That's not how you'd say that. Well lyricized.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I'd have stuck with well written.
Well written. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. The
well written was
well composed.
Well composed. There you go. I was more referring to the music. So well composed, well written, good fun, good energy, well accomplished musicians throughout, and performances throughout. This is a really great pop punk album. But I have my own beefs with pop punk, which are mine and mine alone.
You grew out of it quite a long time ago, man.
Yeah, it generally annoys me nowadays for the most part. And so when I say that I didn't find this album intolerable or it didn't annoy me, that's good. That's it's doing something right.
That's high praise from Pete in his ivory metal tower.
Not just metal, just musical in general. But I don't like pop punk all that much.
I know. It's a shame, really, because it's all I'm capable of writing, so we can never play music together again.
That's not true. We can always, because our pop punk is the most best pop punk. The pop punk that's about silly things.
Oh yeah, that's true. Still like the Toy Dolls.
Yeah. Oh, I love the Toy Dolls. They're not pop punk, they're right. Punk de pathetique.
Yeah, true.
The most French I've spoken today. Just Like Me, track number 3. So it starts off in much the same vein as the first track. It's sort of like a solid pop punk thing, good atmosphere, but the vocals in the chorus are really strained, and I love that. I always love it when there's a bit of sort of grit.
Like you feel like he's really forcing it out of him. He really needs to get his words out.
Yeah, exactly. It's like this is a very emotionally taut album. As well. Like it's heavily emotional, and I would even describe it as being almost an emo album. I'd say it almost crosses into the post-hardcore emo front. But here's the interesting thing with Just Like Me. So after the chorus, the first one, there's this lovely little nod to a band that I like, and I clocked it the second time around. But there's a bigger nod later on in the song. You know, at the end of that song, it goes into a little ska section, doesn't it? And then there's another vocalist, I think it's one of the guitarists, comes in, and he's doing that really strange sort of like this vocal. I think it's funny that you live without a fanfare. That is leftover crack. That could have literally been pulled from my Star fucking Hipsters, leftover crack, any of the Crack Rock Steady albums. That is literally lifted. And I can further compound this with evidence, because after I'd heard that, I was like, no fucking way. The way these guys listen to Locke, that sounded so much like leftover crack. And I was just browsing around their thingy page, and I clicked on the photo of them at the top, and I wonder what they look like. One of them's wearing a fucking leftover crack shirt. I was just like, ah! I have ascertained that correctly. So yeah, I was like, what a weird influence.
Editor Joe here. Sorry to interrupt uninvited, but it's since we've recorded this, we've realised that the person singing the extra vocal line on that song is in fact Stazza Crack from Leftover Crack, and we feel pretty stupid now. So back to the studio.
For
But they are,
this
like,
band,
this is what I'm saying. Though
because-
they are.
yeah, but
They start. If you listen, I
I'm
would
sure
be interested.
I'm missing a lot of
Yeah.
stuff that I just because I'm not as well versed as I
Well,
should be in the pop punk arena. Like I clocked some.
Well,
almost-
maybe I'm going to then just say, please listen to their first album, Get Rich or
yeah.
Try Dying,
Yeah.
because honestly,
I
if
might
you
listen
didn't,
to their new album.
yeah, that's only an EP. There's only about 5 songs on that,
four,
and that's very much, to be fair, that's more of
This.
this. But yeah, Get Rich or Try Dying is much more sort of rough ska kind of stuff, and I think less refined. I don't like it as much as an album. It's much more like a kind of These are all the songs we've currently got.
Yeah, here's some songs. What we do.
These are some songs we currently have, whereas this feels like an album.
Okay,
Sorry,
that's fine. No.
I'm just
It's good.
interrupting.
So yeah, there's this lovely little nod to Leftover Crack, who, if you don't know who Leftover Crack are, they're quite offensive if you're. Well, they're just quite offensive generally. I mean,
Yeah.
they can be very offensive, but they're a crust punk squat ska band. They live in a squat
Even
somewhere
the genres
in New
I do
York.
think I know a bit of.
They're crust
There's
punk.
still subgenres that I have no fucking concept.
They're crust punk
It's confusing.
and ska, and they describe themselves as being like punk ska death metal, which is pretty accurate.
Was it because you lent me? I remember years ago you lent me a Leftover Crack and Citizen Fish,
Oh yeah,
Split.
Yeah.
and
Something
I
like that.
thought it was fine, but it wasn't really for me. It was a bit
No,
much.
I mean I didn't like that Split all that much. It's no fuck world trade, but you know.
But what is Pete? What is?
in more recent years, as I've gone back and listened to Fuck World Trade, I'm looking at it going, so you've got Dick Cheney, I think it's Dick Cheney, pouring petrol over the World Trade Centers as the planes are coming in on the front cover, and you know you've got Fuck World Trade and World Trade is a death machine written across the back. I mean, you know, this is an album that contains tracks like that glorify school shootings and stuff like that. Like, and they reason it out. The point is that, like, I don't give a shit if you die because you're crap people anyway, and your kids are going to be crap people because you're going to raise them to be crap people.
That's very.
And,
That's very in the cattle decap kind of.
I mean, yeah, but they are these
school of
guys.
nihilism.
Their politics are so left wing that it starts.
we're
like,
talking Stalinist. Kind
We're talking like hardcore lefties to the point where they're just like, no, I'll kill you if you don't fucking fall in line. So
That's-
like they upset me a little in that regard, but I really like their music, and I do agree with some of the messages. Like Nazi White Trash is one of the best sort of anti-right wing songs that's ever been written. But there you go, Leftover Crack.
Yeah.
So
The
I just
best
wanted,
kind of
I just
crack.
wanted to highlight. Well, there's no such thing as leftover crack. That's the point.
Oh, is that the joke?
Because
I don't.
if you had it, you'd have used it.
Mm.
So I just wanted to just pull one lyric from there, from that song, Just Like Me. We're all just dead. We're all just fucked. Go back to sleep.
That's lovely, isn't
I
it?
love that line. What a
And
great
it's such a
line.
lovely line to finish off the chorus.
Yeah, I've done that a few times where I've just pulled like one line that I really like. So, Crosshairs, track number 4. The verse is a bit boring, honestly, but the chorus carries the song. The vocals are really intense and strained out again, and I just love it when that happens. The melody reminds me of Melancholy, who you may remember of having released No Cigar, that was on
Yeah.
that Tony Hawk's game that one
It's on
time,
the
and
Tony
also
Hawk's game,
on
yeah.
that Skate to Hell disc that we both had.
Yep.
And it was a great song.
It was a great song.
But overall, the track leaves me feeling a bit flat. It's sort of, this is where the references to it being sort of more like a 2000s-ish emo post-hardcore feeling thing. Taking Back Sunday could have maybe released that song. And
See,
I
do you know it's
wouldn't
weird
have
as
found it weird.
someone who spent time listening to Taking Back Sunday albums? I really don't feel that at all.
Yeah,
But
but
then-
okay,
so it's
maybe
interesting- it's interesting.
I'm probably like.
This
just
is probably like
thinking-
that time that I compared something to Pantera, and there's absolutely no way it was like Pantera.
It's, the thing is, when I think of post-hardcore, I'm thinking of like the entirety of the 2000s and the music that I heard during that time, and going, that's what emo post-hardcore sounds like. Okay, cool. Because I never really liked it all that much.
Yeah.
But I did want to pick a line from this song, even though it wasn't my favourite, because this line was great. And you said that drowning was the quickest way to the bottom of the lake, and you were right.
Yeah, it's fucking.
It's worth pointing out that the "and you were right" carries on into another line.
Yeah.
And you were right,
Those
something
city
could
lights
never
just
compare.
don't compare.
Yeah, but I liked the fact that it was also part of, like, rhythmically, it's in the drowning line,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
in the second line.
Yeah.
So to me, it always I read it in my head, or
No, it definitely
my
is. It's
mind
part
read
of the
it.
same
Yeah.
line. It's definitely.
And you were right. It was the fastest bit at the bottom of the lyric.
It's just there's some really I think lyrically, it would be too glib to say that they've got that Irish poetry about them. But definitely, I think when I was talking about the Flogging Molly stuff, though, there is something very lyrical about their lyrics. Jesus Christ, Joe, did he really just use that sentence? No, there's something very poetic. There's something very. Oh, what's the fucking word I'm looking for? I don't know. There's something just lovely about the way that the lyrics are strung together. He's a great lyricist.
I will say, he's a very talented lyricist. He's a very he writes with a lot of emotion, and he uses a lot of interesting metaphor at times to put that emotion across. Yeah, which I like.
There's a song. Oh, was it? Is it on Charlene? I think is the first track on the new EP. Yeah. And there's a line of what's the point of writing gospel tunes for a room full of pricks on their phone? It's just a lovely line.
And also sometimes they just throw the baby out with the bathwater and go, nah, fuck it. And they have some stuff like that in there where it's just like.
I always think it just adds a little bit. It adds a nice bit of grit to the poetry though. Every time he calls someone a prick in the middle of something that's so beautiful, it just makes it go, okay, so the guy's not an arsehole. Like he can talk like a proper human.
He seems like he's like, in my head, he's like my Irish soulmate who likes a lot of pop punk bands that I don't like. Yeah. So, Holy Communion, this is the song you picked.
It is.
Why'd you pick it, man?
It's so... There's something really nice about... it's about just the only suit I own is black, and if it could stay right at the back of my wardrobe this year could be a better one. That's a fucking great line.
Yeah.
And then the whole... Also, those...
I feel like there's maybe some subtext to these songs we miss out on because we're not Irish.
This is I know about this song.
You do.
I've read into this song, but to be fair, this is because again, my wife's Irish Catholic, so I've spent a lot of time in maths. Not maths. Did I just say maths? I've spent a lot of time in maths because Catholics love maths. I've spent a lot of time in maths in the last few years, certainly more than I ever expected to, and so basically this is about. The fact that the last time he took Holy Communion was at one of his friend's funerals, and there's just like that. It's about the loss of faith. I think it's about the loss of clearly
and people
and the fact that it's about loss. Everything is just going. Well, how can anything mean anything if my friends are being taken from me like this? And I think I don't know. There's just something really resonant about that song for me.
I liked the little 30-second a cappella burst.
That is true. That's
more
true.
than I liked the rest of Holy Communion. And I'm a number at home, you're a number abroad. It's just a little 30-second burst, look a few more lyrics after that, but it's very lovely little thing, and it leads lovely into Holy Communion. So what I have to say about the song, I'm not a super fan of it. Once the song picked up, there's some lovely interplay between the guitars and the keys, even though the chorus is imbued with a ton of passion and excellent soaring vocals leading the way. It's a well put together song, but it falls into that same sort of emo post-hardcore vibe, and that sort of kills it for me. But it's a very lovely emotional ballad, and it's one of these ones where I go, I get why you love this. This is super you, sure, 100%. One good shirt.
Every time you pause, I cut it out.
What?
Every time you pause for effect, I cut it out.
Why?
Because it's really funny. It takes me ages. I just want you to know that I do that.
I'm going to do it more.
Every time you pause, you leave a long gap, like to try and make. You're just so this. I didn't think much of this, and I cut it out. I cut it out every time.
Why?
Because it makes me laugh. I might even cut out that one I just did. I don't know why. I just really find it funny.
It's genuinely not for effect. It's me trying to gather my feeble little thoughts
together. Well, then, if anything, I'm making you sound clever.
You're making me sound smart, yeah. Make me sound all fast talking.
Do you never find yourself going, I don't seem to be thinking an awful lot in this, I just hear it.
I feel like One Good Shirt is a typo. Is that the name of the song?
No, that is the name of the song.
Is it really?
What do you think is one good shit?
I wasn't sure.
All I need is one good shit. I'm just in a really terrible mood.
I just thought I'd maybe typoed it. I just looked at it now and went, that can't be right.
No, that is the correct
title. Right, yeah. So, it paints a very vivid picture. Oh, God, I remember why it's called One Good Shirt now.
Yeah.
A very vivid picture of your standard night out in most town centres, if we're honest.
It's very easy to resonate with.
It is catchy as influenza, this song.
Yeah.
It is hella catchy. It's all up in your biz. And like I say, it's just the chorus that really gets me. Is that I don't know why you're asking, is my brother? He's not heavy. The little
that's so lovely.
The double repetition of heavy as well, and the referencing and
and then the fact that it just like cuts at the end of heavy as well, like it's just lovely.
Yeah, the verses leave me a little wanting, but it's still another very highly polished piece.
They do a fucking great chorus. To be fair,
they are the kings of choruses.
Yeah.
If I can say one thing, I always get a little bit sort of like limp during the verses, and then the chorus comes in. And they're another back to full mass.
They're another example of a great band who are just incredible live because they're just as much as I remember.
I can imagine they're very anthemic and
it's really hard not to just be like fucking I'm into this.
Yeah. So like I said up the top, just incredibly well polished pop punk. And here's another one with a little love heart next to it. So I'm gonna gush for a minute.
Okay.
Let Me Let You Down.
Oh, I knew you'd love this song. I knew it.
Why do you think I'd love this song?
Because it's got a dog in it. I knew it. And I remember thinking, do you remember when I first recommended you this album and I said, I don't know whether to give you, it's like, I don't know. And then I remembered this song and I thought, he's having this one.
He's having that one because it's got a dog in it.
It's got a dog in it.
Do you know what?
It's the same dog off the cover.
Yeah, I know. And here's the thing. These lyrics are so me. It's untrue. Like, I just, when I heard it, I was like, oh, you're talking directly to my soul, man. So, I don't want to be another lost soul in the smog of Los Angeles.
Yep.
Want to watch my dog swim in mountain streams with trees surrounding me. Yeah, dude. I hate cities. I fucking hate it. I can't wait to be out of the one I'm currently in and back in the countryside where I'm from. And I can't wait to drag my dog up a hill tomorrow, which is exactly what I'm doing, weather permitting, and going walking on the moors. I can't fucking wait. Because that's my...
Did you listen to this song while you were walking, Nate?
I did today, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remembered you said it was free to download.
Yeah.
So I went and found it. And download it, because it's not actually... You can't download from the Bandcamp, weirdly. Oh. You have to go somewhere else to do that.
That's annoying.
Yeah, it is a bit. But I went and downloaded it. I was like, oh my God, I forgot.
But everybody though, that is worth searching out because it's free. So it's free music.
Like, literally on the Bandcamp, it's like you can't download it from here. Just Google it, you'll find it.
Honestly, because they're like every time they put up new stuff, they're like it's free because we're not pricks. Like, just okay. I wouldn't have thought you were pricks if you charged, but okay.
So, yeah, that shit just speaks directly to my soul. And basically the song is about him not wanting to move to America, and I couldn't decide whether it's because of the record deal or a girlfriend, but it's definitely one of the two, because he'd have to leave his dog in Ireland, and he's like not having it. Yeah. I'm like, yes, I feel you, bro. Reject that record deal, the hell with the woman, stay in Ireland with your dog.
Yeah.
So it's a great song. It's full of some really great emotional content, and it suffers to an extent with the same problems that I have with the rest of the songs, but I don't care because I'm just enjoying myself. Yeah, I'm loving it.
Are we hearing a bit of that one, or have you got a different?
Oh, I'm going to keep going because there's another song that I love as well, and I'm still deciding which ones. There's three. There's three that got love hearted. The first one was think I mentioned the first one. Just Like Me. Was the first one because that was really great. Okay, track 3. Okay,
that's fair enough. These currently are my two favourite songs on the album.
Sons and Mothers.
Yep.
I love the harmonica. Don't love the vocal on the verse.
That fucking chorus
isn't doing
though.
much for me.
Really?
Chorus is not doing much for me, even though it's another perfectly polished pop punk banger.
Oh mate.
It doesn't catch me. The second verse it is good. They nailed the ambience, and the song is all the better for it. And after that, it's all gold with the lovely marching staccato riff into the chorus. I like that much better after the more tempered second verse. Okay. And I don't know why. That's just how
it's just something that's how you've reacted. That's how you've reacted.
Again, another superb piece of pop punk, really polished throughout. Like this our whole album's good. Like I couldn't fault them musically on anything, even though it's not the particular style of punk I would have enjoyed hearing more. That was a badly worded sentence, but you know what I meant. I genuinely couldn't fault them at any point because at every point I was like, well, I'm gonna pick this apart, and I was like, well, actually, I really can't. That's solid. They're not charging for this. They should be Warped Tour. Does that still go? Is that still a thing that happens?
I think it's
still a thing. They should be Warped Tour, man.
This is the thing. They're another one of those bands I just don't get why they're not.
I don't think they want to be.
No, that's the thing,
isn't it? They make reference to it in.
Let me down.
That he just wants to hang around with his mates and jam out a few tunes. He doesn't really care.
That's the thing. I suppose to be fair, if I had the money and the friends nearby and the time to just be making music.
We probably would do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, if you didn't live an hour away, we'd be seeing each other more often.
I mean, it's the other two band members who are... Anyway, Thick and Thicker, track 10. This bass line, this fucking bass line, just comes straight at you. It sounds like Rancid, sounds like Leftover Crack again. It's proper like... proper old school punky bass. Like, I love this.
Yeah, like Maxwell Murders.
That. Mate, instantly I'm like, okay, this is going to be an excellent song.
Yeah.
The whole track is sort of more that way out. Easily the most punky feeling song on the album for me, for what I'm like, punk, yeah, rah, oi. It's easily the most punky feeling song. There's a nice little bit of Hammond organ, which is another little nod to Locke in a lot of ways. Like, they do that a lot.
You said that like an organ is kind of fairly standard Scar stuff, though, isn't it?
I mean, Scar, yeah, but I guess
it's a fairly, because, like, I mean,
I don't know,
the Specials had an organ.
I've written this, and there's another. I've written something about the Hammond organ even, which are giving some great flavour, and another little nod to Leftover Crack in the final bridge. So they did something in that final bridge, and I think it's like a little bit of interplay between the Hammond organ and the guitar that reminds me, like, so heavily of, like, just the way they did the chords. It sounds like Locke. I just went, that could have been in a Leftover Crack song.
Okay,
easily peasily.
Interesting.
And track number 11, second to last, The Cutting Room Floor. Didn't think I was going to love this one. Genuinely, first listen through it, I was like, oh, I don't know that I like that song very much. But on subsequent listens, it's become possibly one of my favourite songs on the album. And it's to an extent, it's commentary on love songs, which seems a little hypocritical because they have one, track 2.
They're quite good ones, though.
Yeah, they're alright. So I have quoted a little piece of lyric here. So, it's thumping out of my radio, I see it on my TV screen, I hear the words I'll love you forever, but I've forgotten what they mean. Yeah, 100%, I'm feeling that. I genuinely, like, I think it's a massive problem with the world in general, is that everyone's sort of fed this version of what love is and what romance is and what, it's all passion and all. And then really what love is summed up quite nicely in the second half of this lyric, because we fought together and we fall apart. Any way you sing a love song, you'll end up with a broken heart. So, yeah, 100%, yeah, sure. I can see my way through that, because it's true. You spend more time in love doing less of the things that are talked about in love songs and more of the other stuff which sucks.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Who's really good for this? Actually, this is another little recommendation. Probably not. It won't be for the podcast probably, but Gavin Osborne's "Settle." Come on now. Was it "Come on now, folks, settle down"? Or something.
It's a great name.
It's a great name for this thing. But yeah, no, check out Gavin Osborne, because honestly, he's writes some lovely songs. He's got a lovely one about, he opens with this beautiful poem about how his favourite bit of the day is the bit where his wife makes him a cup of tea, and he knows full well that she hates making him a cup of tea, but the fact that she does it for him every day is just...
That's love.
Yeah, that's love. Honestly, check that album out, you'll love it.
Okay. So that's my mini recommend, is it? My little mini.
No, your mini recommend is more of this, unless you were going to do that anyway. In which case, yeah, your mini recommend is Gavin Osborne.
Do more of this. So the ska parts in this song are fine. It's at its best when it's sort of screaming at you and the dense layered guitars and vocals of the chorus. This song, just purely on the strength of the chorus, this song carries itself to the top of the pile. Like, in terms of my rankings of the songs, it's really excellent. And we're gonna then obviously finishing out here with Marrowbone Lane, and this is another sort of fairly fast, upbeaty track. I love the drums, the sort of really bouncy pace. It's really rockabilly-ish. That's what I always think of when I think of it.
Swing beat.
It's almost swingy, but it's...
Is that not what it's called?
It is a swing, but but it's not. It's not like that. It's more like... It reminds me of rockabilly. It reminds me of this is a reference only Joe will get, listening to the Midnight Bandits and stuff like that.
Fuck. I don't know. Right, just again, a little recommendation for everybody. If the Midnight Bandits MySpace page is still up,
I doubt it.
It probably is, because I don't imagine they'd take it down. But see if you can find the Midnight Bandits on MySpace. They're a lovely, rockabilly band from
psychobilly
band from when we were kids. And they used to be
like a local band to us.
Ben from the Midnight Bandits taught my brother to play guitar, and then I'm fairly sure he played in bands with Soggy as well, like RX guitar player, and they were just again, they were sort of we were never really that engrossed in the local music scene.
We
played in a few bands, and you knew more people than I did.
I used to go to a lot of gigs. I used to go to a lot of the gigs where like the Midnight Bandits and Bunny Boy
as
you did
I.
too. Yeah.
As did I. But like I didn't know anybody.
No.
Whereas a lot of people we knew people. So
yeah.
My favourite story about them, if we just if we're digressing,
the
offside is they have a song.
Tyson.
I remember actually the Midnight Bandits playing a cover of Rehab by Amy Winehouse, and you were in the front row.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
Yeah.
And Ben's microphone fell down in the middle of the song while he was playing. He was a double bass player, so he couldn't stop.
Yeah.
And so his mic fell down, like just flopped. His microphone became impotent, and Pete didn't. And I think he tried to gesture to you to try and fix it.
Probably like oblivious, completely
Didn't pay attention at all. Was just having a little bop, and then the song finished, and Ben picked up his microphone and went, "Are you fucking stoned?" And I remember that really vividly. The other thing that I remember,
and the answer would have been sort of like,
probably. Hi Michelle. So but the other thing what I remember was that if I remember this story, and I feel like I've probably conflated more than one story here, but I'm pretty sure this is true. They definitely have, this bit's true, they definitely had a song called We Fuck the Dead.
They did.
And I think they played that one night when there was a wake upstairs in the pub.
Yeah, we didn't know.
And then a man got glassed.
A man got really cross because the gig venue was in the basement of the
pub.
That
was the...
And so we were all like down there, and apparently
there's a bit in the basically the song thing like sort of quiets down, and the whole crowd just goes, "We fuck the dead." We had a lovely childhood.
Yeah,
and proper.
They were great.
They were such a good band though.
Until you've seen if you've never seen a psychobilly band live, you need to go just find your local closest psychobilly band.
Have you heard the Peacocks?
I have heard the Peacocks. Yeah,
they're great, aren't they?
They're really good.
Yeah. Anyway, you listen to the Peacocks.
Moving on. I'm going to finish this review.
Sorry, yeah.
So, the really sort of psychobilly, rockabilly, maybe more psychobilly because it's fast, but that style of drumming on this track. It's another very slick, solid piece of pop punk. And it reminds me of Ruben in a couple of places on this track. I kind of got that feel. So, if you like NoFX, if you like Melancholy, if you like good pop punk bands, this album will almost certainly float one of your many boats. For me, it's not what I want out of a punk album. It's just not. But I cannot take anything away from these lads. It is an emotionally taut, fast, engrossing, melodic joy to listen to. An absolute joy. I genuinely thought I was going to hate it when it first started. No, I've actually really enjoyed it. It's been lovely.
I'm really pleased to hear that, man.
I don't think it'd make my regular rotation, but I'm definitely keeping hold of it for later use.
Yeah, I'd be really interested to see what you think of Get Rich or Try Dying.
Well,
it's a good title for a
of
start.
what I will think of that song, I need to pick a little bit to listen to. So I think what we are going to listen to is the section that I quoted from Let Me Let You Down, because it makes my emotions all mushy and squashy.
Okay, well here's Let Me Let You Down, tune on Tinfoil.
Don't wanna be another lost soul in the smog of Los Angeles. Wanna watch my dog swimming in mountain streams with the trees surrounding me. Just let me let you down. Oh please this time, just let me let you down.
That's just so beautiful, isn't it? Just that bit where he comes back in and he's just it gets to the end of that with the trees surrounding me, and then it just goes quiet and it's just it's like he's just begging. It's like the music's not important. The music's not important. That's why it's gone. And it's just like, just give this to me. Just give this to me.
Yeah.
That's all he wants. It's just perfect.
There's always one song on every album you give me, I think, that just gets right under my emotional tissues and just gives them a good yanking and kicks me in my emotional testicles.
But I'm trying to break you.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
Okay. Well, okay, so what we'll do is we'll have a little bit of a jingle, and then we'll come back for a recommendation for...
Give you a little bit of a jingle treacle.
Just have a little bit of a jingle, mate. Just have a bit of a jingle. Here's a jingle!
You like that, did ya?
That was a lovely jingle. So,
The time has come to give some recommendations, and it's my turn, so I am going to recommend Joe an album that we will be talking about next time. Excellent.
Oh, dear.
We've been focusing a lot on rock, and until recently, when we've taken a complete turn into left field and done some synth pop, which I don't really understand how we got to that point. But
especially when it was me that started it.
yeah, you started it. Honestly, I'm the one who with the little mini synth pop obsession. Anyway,
I know. You're welcome.
So, I'm taking us further off the beaten track.
Okay.
We're going into a new genre.
Okay. Is it like a genre you've invented, or like?
Yeah. This is sparkly.
Okay.
No, it's no.
Really? That was the best you could do.
Sparkly is a real fake genre that was made up by somebody, but then because he made it up, he then put it to his YouTube following that they should attempt to actually make it a real thing, and then they did. So it's actually now a real thing, but it wasn't. Anyway, moving on. Andrew Huang, by the way, go watch him. He's amazing and he's a very talented musician. That's not what you're doing, by the way.
No,
Don't
good.
you go? I mean, you should go listen to Andrew Huang.
You've showed me his stuff before.
He's great.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's time for some hip hop, Joe.
Okay, good.
Yay!
Oh man, I'm gonna have to print out pages of lyrics. Good.
So, you're getting Run the Jewels 3 by Run the Jewels.
It's a very original title.
Well, they're all just named Run the
Well,
Jewels.
yeah, obviously. I would assume it would be weird if you went with Run
the Jewels
first
1.
album's called like Doorway to Hell. The second album's called This Is a Car, and the third album's called Run the Jewels 3. That'd be rubbish.
I mean, if your second album's called This Is a Car, all bets are off, really.
Well, to be fair, is it UK Subs have got a song called I Live in a Car?
Yeah, but that's the UK subs.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
that's
much about them.
like pointing out a Toy Dolls song title and going, that's silly. Of course it is. They're all fucking silly.
Yeah, all right. Okay. Anyway, tell me more about the thing. I'm being really silly tonight. I'm sorry. Tell
It's
me more
getting
about the
late.
thing.
It's past your bedtime, isn't it?
It really isn't.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. Is when my son goes to sleep, that's when I do all my sitting still. So it's quite nice. So like when you like my bedtime, it ends up being later than it fucking should have been because I'm just too busy enjoying the time of sitting still that I would have had prior to his birth.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
He's a joy. He's a joy. I love him.
An absolute joy. A blessing.
Yeah. Yes.
Should we talk about Run the Jewels?
Yeah, please.
So, Run the Jewels are a two-piece American hip-hop outfit featuring Killer Mike and LP.
Solid guys.
Yeah.
Solid guys.
Yeah. Sort of an ebony and ivory deal going on here. And LP is, as well as being, I don't want to say he's like second chair to Mike in the rap department, but he kind of is. I love both of them just as much, but I feel like Mike's so much flowier. Anyway, that's discussion for another time.
Okay.
He's also the producer. He produces all the music and all the beats, and he has a very distinct and unique production style. You know, like when you're young and you're listening to the music what you like, or you're watching the thing what you like, or you're doing the thing that you enjoy, and you go, what will this be like in 20 years? And then 20 years rolls around and you got it really wrong. So that happened to me with hip-hop, and it happened to probably most people from the 90s with hip-hop who were like, yeah, I quite like hip-hop right now, this is good. And then it got to where we are now in our lives, and it's like, holy crap, what is that garbage fire over there? With the relentless 808 hi-hats just going... and the really low sub bit, and that man who's not even speaking proper words.
Yeah. See, it's interesting because I didn't really get into hip hop until about 4 or 5 years ago. I had the Eminem show when I was a kid, and I don't know. My parents bought me that. That's weird, isn't it?
My parents are cool dudes.
They are cool. They are. My parents are cool.
Cool dudes.
I don't know why you would anyway. So, but I liked a couple of songs off that, but I didn't really get. I didn't get it. I didn't get it, and he said faggots too many times.
That annoys me.
Yeah, so it's kind of but I've only recently realised that I really love. Essentially, though, like
because it's poetry, right?
Yeah, because it's poetry. It's poetry and it's wordplay. And essentially, Milton Jones, like one-liners set to a beat.
Yep.
A lot of the good stuff.
Sure. Yeah,
stuff I
agree. I would say that this is not, although it sort of may at first glance appear to be a sort of gangster rap record, I would say that it's definitely not that. Both of them have pasts, let's say, but that is generally what they're talking about and not presents. And also everything they do is a super huge stylized cartoon version of life.
Okay.
Like, yeah, we spoke. I don't know. I think it was probably off pod. Me and you have definitely spoken about how rappers are often just huge cartoon versions of what they really are.
I will look forward to that, mate. Thanks
Cool.
very much. So what we're listening to?
So what we're going to have a little bit of is the first verse of "Talk to Me." It's Killer Mike's verse, and it absolutely rules.
Okay. This is that then.
We return from the depths of the Badland with a gun and a knife and a waistband. Went to war with the devil and Shaitan. He wore a bad toupee and a spray tan. So high now, hoping that I land on a Thai stick moving through Thailand. On the radio, heard a plane hijack. Government did that like they cook crack. I move in the world of conspiracies. Obey no rules, I'm doing me. Smoke kush transported to the airport. Customs found a joint in my passport. Full cash and I gave what he asked for. God damn it, it's a motherfucking miracle. Small bride made it back into America. Hit Uber and maneuvered out the area.
Well, that was verbose. So, okay, well, lovely. Well, I will have a lovely time listening to that, and we'll chat about that next time I see you.
I just want to come in and just compliment you on your usage of the word verbose. I love using that when people go, God, you know a lot of big words, you. And you go, yes, I'm very verbose. And they go, what? And you go, it's a big wanky word that means I'm wanky and wordy.
Yeah, that's a wanky and wordy is better. That's the name of my rap album.
Wanky and wordy.
Wanky and wordy. Have I said to you, I always wanted to be a rapper so that my nickname could be the Yorkshire Rapper.
Yes, we did talk about this while you were hanging out at my house the other week.
Yeah, and that's not okay. But the problem, I think, the reason that I've not
Yorkshire Rapper, wanky and wordy.
the reason I haven't really talked about that much more is because I can't really think of a good pun, like rap-based pun, on just the name of Peter Sutcliffe, and I think genuinely that's annoyingly the only reason that I haven't really pursued that more as a thing, whereas the real reason should be it's not appropriate.
Yes,
that isn't the reason. The reason is I can't think of a good enough pun. Please write in
with your puns on Peter Sutcliffe's name. All
Yeah.
right, that's
Okay,
enough from us for now.
Yeah, thanks very much for listening, guys.
Bye.
We'll see you again. Bye.
Today's Funny Podcast was presented and devised by Peter McHugh and Joe McLachlan. Music was by The X-Towels.
I returned from the depths of the Badlands with a gun and a knife in a waistband. Went to war with the devil and Satan. He wore a bad toupee and a spray tan. So high now, hoping that I land on a Thai stick moving through Thailand. Okay, enough.